So today we are in our business and sales and marketing, business administration co-op, supply chain operations management, and international business session with some wonderful staff. You are going to love all of them. I promise I can speak from experience on that. Our hosts today are Terry Champion, who is the coordinator of sales and marketing, Robert Madronic, our coordinator of business administration and the marketing co-op, Robert Shepard, the coordinator of our supply chain and operations management co-op, and David Pastrick, our coordinator of our international business. So I'm going to start here by handing this off to Terry Champion.
Thank you. Thanks, Jessica, and welcome to everybody. Good morning. I'm glad to have you with us today. We're very excited to be able to connect with potential Niagara College students. And our session today is really designed to allow us to provide you with a little bit of an overview of some of the programs that we represent. Also to answer any questions or queries that you might have, and give us an opportunity to relay to you a little bit more information based on your interests and some of the programs that we offer here. So I want to first start out by letting you know that in the School of Business, in addition to all of the programs that you're the 4 program areas that you're going to hear about today, we also are very proud of the fact that as part of the School of Business, we not only offer programs in terms of specific areas of instruction, but we also provide what we consider to be a real competitive advantage, something that we refer to as the NC difference. And in the School of Business, part of that added benefit or value comes from some of the things that are indicated here on this slide. So there are a lot of opportunities for students in the School of Business to do a fair bit of work integrated learning, which essentially means being able to take your academic learning and the theory and the information that you're receiving in class, whether it's online or in person, and being able to apply it. So there are lots of opportunities for you to do networking with industry professionals. Oftentimes we will have local community businesses or organizations that we are partnering with that are interested in connecting with our students and giving them an opportunity to learn from them and vice versa. In addition to that, there's always opportunities for you to do lots of project-based learning. And a lot of the core courses that you'll be taking in your respective program areas will also integrate usually some type of major project type of learning, where you might be working not only with other colleagues within your program, but also interacting with people in the community, businesses, organizations, business professionals. So that's that little extra that we call the NC difference that comes from allowing you to learn not just within our learning environment, but also outside in the community. A number of different programs will also offer you the opportunity to earn professional credentials. And each of the program areas, a few of the ones that we'll talk about today will be able to kind of provide you with a little bit of that insight. And also there are lots of opportunities for you to add on to your learning through academic pathways. If you choose to start a program here, graduate from a program, and then perhaps you're interested in some type of a post-diploma or postgraduate program, or you're looking at perhaps adding on some type of a degree to your accreditation, that's also something that we can help navigate. So there's lots of extra learning opportunities that are part of the NC difference. And they really span across a number of different programs, but we wanted to first kind of make that point with you before we talk to you about some of the individual programs. So I'm here to talk to you today about the 2-year sales and marketing program. That is the program that I'm associated with quite closely, as I'm the program coordinator. And students that are interested in the 2-year sales and marketing program have lots in store, lots of great learning that happens in this program. It is a program that draws a lot of attention and interest in students that are really keen to get into the world of business and like the idea of combining their love of working with people and communicating, and perhaps a natural ability to connect well with people, whether it's based on their personality or their communication style or their sales ability, and combining that with opportunities in the world of sales as well as marketing. So it's a 2-year program, and there is a number of different facets involved in this program. Part of what we provide, in addition to kind of a traditional offering of 6 courses per term, is an additional learning opportunity by way of an internship. And the internship component of the program is something that allows you to, again, take what you're learning and apply it, add something important to a learning to your resume, and hopefully give you something that's going to help set you apart from perhaps some of the other applicants and people that you might be competing with in the job market. So again, it's a 2-year program, and it's a diploma program. And I'll talk to you just a little bit more about the program next slide. So the great thing about this program is that in addition to being a tight timeline, 2 years, it also allows you to either start the program in the fall or in January. So if you are starting in the January term, you actually are completing essentially a 2-year program in 18 months, so 1.5 years. So there is some flexibility in terms of timing. You can start in January, you can start in September. There are 4 terms, 6 courses per term, and you can definitely take a look online if you haven't already. That's my dog, sorry. Take a look at some of the highlights of the curriculum. So obviously in a sales and marketing program, you're definitely going to get courses in intro marketing, in sales, in building relationships, but you're also going to get exposure to things like business operations, entrepreneurship, international business, lots of technology courses, things like e-business and microcomputer applications. So there's a nice offering of courses in terms of our curriculum. And once you take a look at the curriculum, one thing that I always suggest to students who are looking at choosing a program and they're not quite sure is read some of the course descriptions. And as you're reading those course descriptions, if you're starting to nod your head and think, yeah, that's interesting, I'd like to know more about that, then you're, I think, on the right path or track. So don't just read the names, actually read some of the descriptions. So that's kind of the curriculum for the 2-year program. The major benefits, and I guess if I'm going to present this as in a bit of a sales presentation, the major features of the program, like I mentioned, is that it's flexible. It's a 2-year program, so you're able to kind of condense your learning in a pretty effective way. It's very unique in that it is one of only 2 programs in Ontario that actually combines sales with marketing. So you probably, if you've done some research, saw that there are quite a few other 2-year programs that are just 2-year marketing or 2-year business. This is kind of unusual because it gives you sales and marketing. And where that's not only unique, it's also a benefit to you, because a lot of employers and organizations are really kind of hungering for students that have that combination of some sales ability and sales skills, as well as business and marketing. So that's what makes this unique. The internship component of 120 hours that you complete before you graduate, also something that's a major feature of our program, gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit about a particular industry or particular type of business, and more importantly, have some skills that you can talk about and put on your LinkedIn profile and on your resume to help you kickstart your career path. There's also, as I mentioned, lots of projects, tons of project-based learning. And we also have in the 2-year sales and marketing program quite a bit of an entrepreneurial focus. So you take 2 courses actually in entrepreneurship and small business, an intro course where you learn about what it means to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, and then a business plan course in your 2nd year, which gives you an opportunity to actually think about putting together a business proposal and a business plan. And lastly, I wanted to mention that we also have some great opportunities for students to put their skills to the test in a competitive arena. So the sales and marketing program, as well as actually the 3-year marketing program that you're going to hear about shortly, offers students the opportunity to compete in a couple of business competitions. One actually is is coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks and is the Ontario Colleges Marketing Competition. And we're going to be having a number of students in sales and marketing compete in that event. So you get to challenge yourself, connect with other students across the province in the world of marketing, and put your skills to the test in doing case analysis and presentations. And it's a great learning opportunity, lots of networking, and again, kind of something extra to add to your portfolio. So overall, the program, I think, is one that really sets itself apart in terms of having these unique skills that we offer, a lot of great work experience. It is a short time frame, 2 years, but there's a lot packed in there. So if you have any specific questions later about the 2-year sales and marketing program, definitely love to answer them. I think that's it for me in terms of an intro to the program. Next slide, Jessica. I think I'm passing it off to, oh, I have one more slide, sorry. This is just a bit of a wrap up. Oftentimes students will ask about what kinds of career opportunities there might be. And obviously students who get into this program, yeah, a lot of them want to get into either an entry-level sales position, an account executive, a sales representative for a company doing B2B sales. Some people actually want to go back into a family business. Maybe they want to run their own business. Some students are interested in entry-level marketing positions. Certainly today, there's lots of opportunities in terms of online marketing communications opportunities, social media coordinators, those types of roles. So those are some of the opportunities available to you from this program. And you know, a lot of it has to do with your own personal interests and where you want to go. So there isn't necessarily one very rigid career path for sales and marketing graduates. It's quite wide open. So I think this is definitely my last slide. So I will pass it over, I believe, to Robert Madronic, who's the coordinator of the 3-year business administration marketing program with a co-op. Rob?
Thank you, Terry. I always enjoy going after Terry because she is so thorough that I don't have to talk as long. Now, generally, the difference is that a lot of the students start asking about between Terry's program and mine. As she mentioned, hers focus is a little bit more on the sales and marketing side, and the 3-year co-op program goes a little bit more into the strategic side in the last year. So generally what happens in the co-op program is we do 1 semester of co-op in the 5th term, and then you come back and you do another 2 semesters. So you are able to take what you learned through your co-op and apply it in your project. So basically a summary of what we're doing here in the 3-year program. As a graduate, you'll have substantial industry connections, and extensive real world experience, as Terry sort of mentioned. But I just want to reiterate how a lot of the times what we do in our classes is we don't just read a textbook and then answer questions based on what we read. A lot of the times our projects have to do with doing actual cases out in the community. And we call this experiential learning, and there's a lot of other names for it. But basically what it means is you're actually going out and getting that real world experience that really comes into play when you start looking for a position. And it also allows you to develop a little bit of that sort of wisdom that comes with specific experience. So as I mentioned, the biggest difference is the 2-year versus the 3-year, a little bit of a focus difference, and the co-op versus the in Terry's program, it's not co-op. What's it called, Terry?
Sorry, I'm muted. Internship.
Internship. Sorry, draw a blank there. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please, while I try to find my tongue. Okay, so one of the sort of selling points for our program is you can start either in September or January, depending on you know, whatever you prefer. Generally 6 terms of study, the co-op for applied learning. And with the co-op, as I sort of alluded to, this is where you're going out into the community and looking for a position in actual marketing, where you're going to actually do a marketing job. And this is where a lot of our applied learning comes into play, because what happens with a lot of our students is when we send them out to do a case or a small project with a lot of other businesses in the community, they actually get to meet a lot of these people. And it makes it a little bit easier when you start looking for co-op positions later, because you've already met a lot of people. Also, because Niagara-on-the-Lake specifically isn't that big. And then when you even expand into the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area, the business community is still fairly tight knit. Okay, so another big option or big advantage, I think, with coming to Niagara College is the common first year for a lot of the business programs. And what this means is if you decide to focus in marketing or accounting or HR or something else, and after the first semester you change your mind, as many students do, you can change to another discipline without too much trouble in your pathways. And this is something that I know with myself, when I first started in business school, I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to take. And I know with my son, he started off thinking marketing or HR, but ended up going into accounting. So this is one of the biggest advantages as far as I can see. And then as Terry mentioned, once you're finished in the program, you also have pathways that have been negotiated with some other universities so that you can go into some degree programs either in Niagara College or at a couple of other universities. And we're always adding those every couple of years. Okay, so some of the things we study in marketing really quick. Obviously business strategy, and this is the sort of thing that you're going to learn a little bit more of in your third year. And the idea with business strategy is just coming up with reasonable ways to solve problems. We also look into interactive media, and the idea with interactive media is when we're doing advertising, a lot of the times back in the olden days when I was a kid, we would just put out some sort of a commercial, for example, when you're watching TV. But nowadays, when it's online, a commercial is much more interactive. And then over on the other side, we can get into something like advertising, which has become in today's market much bigger than just putting out a couple of TV commercials or billboards. Branding, which is developing the actual personality of a product. So when you think about a company like Apple versus a company like Samsung, the sort of personality that is sold is a little bit different, and that could be part of your program. And something that I like to do with my classes when we talk about things like branding, I like to compare what you might be doing with a business to your own personal life. So when you think about how you brand yourself, do you dress a little bit more conservatively? Do you dress less conservatively? And you can do the same thing with a business. So if you look at a company like Roots, the way they brand their company and the sort of look and feel of Roots, as opposed to, say, Banana Republic, which is a little bit different. And then finally, we have direct marketing. And this is not, when I got into marketing, direct marketing was sort of viewed as not as respectable. But nowadays, I think it's become much more respectable, because with direct marketing and a lot of the analytics that we're getting with a lot of online research, you're able to do direct marketing much more effectively and in ways that don't really feel like you're bothering people, because you're going in with a lot of information. So you're able to solve problems that maybe the customer didn't even realize they had. So the idea basically is you want to allow your inner marketing genius to shine. Okay, so I believe this might be my last slide. So these are just some of the career opportunities. And of course, the reality is there's no limit to the different careers you can have. Even though I started in geography and turned it into a real estate career. So the idea, you can be an advertiser or a media buyer, basically buying space in areas where you want to put advertisements. You can be a brand, business event, strategic business or sales manager, a customer relations specialist, a fundraising specialist, and then my personal favorite, small business strategist. A lot of students that come into Niagara College start their own sort of businesses, whether it's, I know one student started I think it was a company selling cosmetics through a Shopify site, because one of our classes actually shows you, and you actually start a Shopify site, and she turned that into a career. Then I had another student who was really into motorcycles and started an Instagram page just about motorcycles. And last I heard, he had something like 4 million followers. You can also be a sales marketing coordinator. This is just putting together sales and marketing for a company or a group of companies. Sales representative, market research analyst, or a sports promoter. Now, one of the things that's not mentioned here quite as specifically, and I sort of touched on it earlier, is the idea of social media. A lot of businesses are run by people who are a little bit older than student age. And a lot of people my age don't really have the skills or the experience with social media. And I know a lot of students, either at Niagara College or some of my kids' friends, have actually turned their own experience running their own social media platforms into jobs, running social media platforms for the businesses where they work. So that's probably your most fertile area if that's where you want to sort of apply yourself. So that is the end of my slides, and I'm going to stay on for the rest of the morning to answer questions, and I'm going to hand things over to Mr. Rob Shepard.
Thank you, Rob. Hello, everybody. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning. I'm Rob Shepard. I coordinate the Supply Chain and Operations Management program at Niagara College. And I just wanted to reiterate a couple of really important things that both Terry and Rob have noted. And that is, we really do focus on applied learning, applied education. And what that means is, what you learn in the classroom, you get the opportunity to apply it in some type of real world scenario. It increases your employability, it increases your knowledge of the curriculum and of the competencies that you're going to acquire, regardless of what program you're in. Just one more thing I do want to mention before we get into the Supply Chain and Operations Management program a little bit. This is a co-op program as well, so you will have that opportunity to acquire on-hand experience. Our co-ops are at the end of second year, they're between second and third year. And I cannot tell you how many students who have gone through a co-op ended up in that company working for them when they graduate. It's a great conduit for our students to have a career waiting for them upon graduation. And just one more thing, regardless of what program you're in when you walk in day one, if it is in a BA program, a business administration program, primarily international business or marketing, human resources, or supply chain and operations management, you are in a common first year. And Rob Madronic just before me mentioned that, and that is, it's designed that way to give you the latitude and the flexibility to change programs in your first year if where you are isn't maybe a good fit, and maybe you've discovered something that is of more interest to you. So you do have that flexibility. So I do want to talk a little bit, obviously, about supply chain and operations management. And basically, it is the flow of goods and services from producers all the way through to distribution and consumers right into our hands. And I've got a little Amazon note at the bottom of this slide. One of the things that supply chain management has gone through, it's really starting to go through an evolution, a renaissance, especially due to COVID. And if you think about you buying something online, I know I've purchased a lot online through the last 18 months. Think about how robust and effective supply chains are, where you can go online and buy something and pay for it, and it's literally on your doorstep within the next day or so. And this is where supply chain management is evolving. Governments, countries, businesses are realizing how critical supply chains are. If you think about back, when the COVID vaccine came out, one of the things that they looked at was supply chain. How do we get that vaccine where it needs to be when it's required? So supply chain management is not just a matter of supplying, goods, it's also services, and it is just such a huge component of our lives today. A couple of the things I want to mention about the program. The program at the college is affiliated with Supply Chain Canada. Supply Chain Canada is the professional organization in Canada that basically sort of monitors where supply chain management is going in Canada, in North America, and globally. And the program has what we call either an articulation agreement or a credit transfer agreement with Supply Chain Canada. And Supply Chain Canada offers a professional certification in supply chain. It is Certified Canadian Supply Chain Management Professional. Once you graduate from the program, you are halfway towards achieving that certification. The certification requires individuals to take 8 courses, and you'll be halfway through. You'll have 4 under your belt when you graduate, and 6 workshops, and you'll have 3 of those workshops completed upon graduation. That curriculum is embedded right in the program. And I do get questions from students saying, well, how come we're only halfway there? 50% of curriculum transfer is the most that Supply Chain Canada will grant towards their professional certification. So once again, when you graduate, you're halfway towards that certification in supply chain management. Really, really highly recognized certification in the field of supply chain management. Also, we have a supply chain student organization or student club. It's relatively newly formed. It was actually formed during COVID. And this is our opportunity for students to network with other students across the program, first year, second year, third year, go into organizations for tours when we can do that, hopefully starting in January and beyond, bringing in guest speakers. So again, it's an opportunity for students to network with industry professionals, and again, network with other students within the program. Really, really a value-added component to the program. As far as growth in the field of supply chain, students are attending post-secondary. They're looking for a job. They want a career. And just a couple of statistics here. One by the American Production and Control Society. They are sort of the American version of Supply Chain Canada. Huge growth in the field of supply chain management. As it says there, a growth rate of approximately 26%. Huge opportunities for careers in the field of supply chain and operations management. And if you look at that second little paragraph, DHL is a very, very highly recognized global logistics and supply chain service provider. Supply chain talent shortage, there's a gap crisis there, okay, a ratio of 6 to 1. So again, the need for individuals is exceeding the ratio of availability by 6 to 1. So huge opportunities for individuals to have a very, very interesting and dynamic career looking forward in the world of supply chain and operations management. The last one, the first line, the ideal employee has both tactical operational experience and professional competencies. Not just the supply chain and operations management program, but all of the business programming at Niagara College provides you with the opportunity to really take what you've learned, your competencies, and apply them either through internships or co-ops, and also through applied learning opportunities where your course curriculum is integrated in some type of real world project where you get to really apply what you've learned into a real business scenario. Career opportunities, this is really just a drop in the bucket. There are so many different opportunities that you can look to in the world of supply chain management, distribution, inventory management, doing analytics, doing analysis, enterprise resource planning systems. It goes on and on and on. And if you look at the one little cube, I guess, in the bottom right corner, SAP, Enterprise Resource Planning. One of the things with the Supply Chain and Operations Management Program, as well as the BA Marketing and the BA International Program, which Dave Pastrick is going to speak of next, students get 2 courses in SAP. SAP is a platform for enterprise resource planning systems. And what it does, it basically fully integrates all the functions involved in a business. So SAP is used by so many different companies, so many different organizations globally to manage business enterprise. And you will get 2 courses in SAP curriculum. Again, it's a transferable skill. A lot of the graduates get both co-ops and job placements when they graduate because of that SAP skill that they've acquired in the program. Okay, David, I'm going to pass it off to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Robert. And I'm delighted to be following such 3 excellent presentations because my colleagues have done an excellent job of telling you so much about what's unique about Niagara and what's unique about our business programs. So I'm going to just focus a little bit on 2 programs. Much of what has been said already applies, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the differences that are here. And these 2 programs that I'm talking about deal with global trade. Now, the supply chain aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, the sales aspect of it are all important components. So we're a little more general. We're a little more general in terms of talking about international business. We're covering things that are going back thousands of years. The Phoenicians with their trade routes, the Silk Road, the spice route, all exploration really has its sort of origins in people integrating with each other, people exchanging goods, people trading. And the recent pandemic has exposed some of the vulnerabilities of that, some of the things that have where the program needs a little bit of strengthening. Robert alluded to the supply chain aspects of it and how important that is. So we need to have some people out there who understand the importance of globalization, who understand how important it is to be able to have goods freely moving around the border. Over the borders. And that's what we want to focus on here at International Business. Now, the first program that I just to mention that you can see on the slides here is the 2-year program. So that is the 2-year international business diploma program. It is a 2-year, similar to the sales and marketing program that Terry was talking about earlier. The 3-year program is more like the marketing and supply chain programs that we heard about earlier, in that is a 3-year option for the advanced diploma. Human resources also falls into this category. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. The one after that. Just to set up international business before we get started, some of the key points to make here about both programs is they have September and January starts, and in May of this year, we started a May start, which is kind of unique. We haven't done that before. We're still evaluating how that's going. Is it the right thing to do? Certainly 2 starts is great. 3 starts in the year is pretty fantastic. So we'll see how that goes. We can't guarantee that the May start will be always available, but we certainly have the other options there. And with respect to accreditation for international business, the Forum for International Trade Training based in Ottawa sets the standards in Canada for the Certified International Trade Professional. That's the CITP designation that's there. There's certainly a practical component, like all the other accreditations that have been discussed previously. There's a practical component that requires you to be working full-time, but many of the academic credentials can be achieved by your participation in one of these Niagara programs. Will help with the academic requirements, and you're sort of on the path. Then you're in the right direction in order to achieve that accreditation. Now, this common first year, this is what I was alluding to earlier. This common first year, we can't. I hope we're not. We don't really want to beat this horse, but there's an awful lot to be said about having a common first year. You don't need to make a decision for next September with one specific program. If you know, as Robert said, if you know you wanted to go in business, then you've got this option to move in the international business streams, both programs, to go into the marketing, to go into supply chain, to go into human resources, and also general business. There's a 2-year general business option that has the common first year. So I won't talk I won't talk at all about the common first year, other than to say we also have an international business, what's called a laddered program. Now that's sort of our college speak. Laddered program means that you can move from one program to the other seamlessly. And our 2-year and 3-year programs are laddered, which gives you a fantastic options, because number one, at the end of, if you're in the 2-year program, at the end of the 2nd year, you can graduate, which you signed up to do. Or you can say, you know what, this is going pretty good. I'd like to improve my credentials a little bit. You can stay for the 3rd year of the advanced diploma. Alternatively, if you're in the advanced diploma in the 3-year program, you can move on into the 3rd year of your studies at the end of the 2nd year, or you can decide, you know what, I've been offered a job, I've got the position I'm looking for, my dream job's available, I'd like to get out now, can I get any credentials? And of course, you can graduate with the 2-year diploma. So laddered means it's very, very flexible, gives you a lot of options. In that 2nd year, some of the courses that you're going to study, you can see are very similar to what all business courses need to take, things like accounting and statistics and organizational behavior, important courses. But we also introduced some courses in here where there is a border, where there is a frontier frontier where a good or a services has to cross into another jurisdiction. And we think that's important, that we understand some of those border and frontier implications on the areas of marketing, on communications, on logistics and supply chain. And of course, we also have an opportunity at this stage to study some electives. One of the things we like everybody to have when they leave Niagara College is this passion for lifelong learning. And having these elective options helps you to get your mind out of the business world a little bit. Recognize that the education is a full, broad experience, that you need to live life when you leave here, not just focus on one job. So we've got some electives as well that you can take, and that goes for all the courses, all the programs that have been discussed today. Now, if you do decide to stay for the advanced diploma, the third year, so your first 2 years are complete, then we've got, again, some courses that everybody needs to study, needs to understand. The entrepreneurship components that have been discussed by my colleagues a little bit earlier, the strategic management, the ERP with the SAP. We're throwing a lot of acronyms at you, aren't we? A lot of three-letter designations to you, but those exist in terms of all businesses requiring people with those talents. But again, when we have that border, when we have the frontier, we're going to have different legal systems. We're going to have different business plannings, different ways of financing, and we need to talk to you a little bit about that, which we do in our third year. And of course, this also gives you an opportunity to start studying a language, that you can start taking some language courses. In addition, at the end of the third year, we're kind of in a unique position because you can move from the Business Administration International Business into the Honors Bachelor of Business Administration, what we call here, to give you another acronym, what we call the ICOM, International Commerce and Global Development. And that is the 4-year bachelor degree. So if you have at the back of your mind some interest, maybe one day you want to pursue a master's degree or some other graduate work, then you're going to need a bachelor's degree to do that. So one of the channels you might want to look at, one of the paths you might need to consider is, how do I get into a bachelor program? And this channel does give you that option. Of course, international business professionals are found in every industry, every organization, all levels of government. Some of them trade directly, some of them actually do importing and exporting, but some of them are involved in other aspects of their company's operations, because every company, every single company is involved in international business at some point. Some of them do trading directly. They may import or export a product directly, and they're obviously identified as an international business company. But we also have companies that need to worry about their suppliers. They need to worry about some of their customers. They're trying to explore new opportunities, trying to grow a little bit. So they're all going to consider the international business route. And at the very least, at the absolute very least, every company will have an international competitor. We'll have competitors coming in from somewhere else. So it's important for every business, every organization, to have somebody who understands the implications of these borders, these frontiers, what it's going to do to the business opportunities. So lots of exciting things to do. Looking forward to seeing some of you who are on this call, to seeing some of you in September. And hopefully we'll be in a different position then. We won't have to be talking through headsets and videos, but you've got some decisions to make, and we're all encouraging you to make the right one. Jessica, at this time, I think we were going to talk about CROSS, but I don't see CROSS on the line. So if there's been a change in program, I'm going to have to sort of hand it back to you, Jessica, here.
Absolutely, we can do that. We will bypass. Unfortunately, our student wasn't able to make us. But if anyone has any questions for a student, you can put those in the chat too, because like I said, I was a student of their business programs, and I can attest that they were phenomenal classes and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And actually, I got my co-op with the college, as Rob Shepard had talked about some of the students that stay on in the jobs that they took their co-ops with. I can attest to that. I am still here. So I'm just skipped over that. So we have these 2 slides at the end that we're kind of reiterating some of the information we had heard from our lovely presenters about the pathways that you have. The 2-year diplomas merging into the 3-year advanced diplomas, graduate certificates, degree programs, university completion. Our pathway options are immense and they are wonderful. We have articulation agreements around the world, so a little bit more of that international feel. I know several people personally who have completed a couple of different of these programs, marketing, HR, etc., who have completed their degrees in Australia, Ireland, Wales. It's wonderful. we have opportunities. If you'd like to join us, you can also book one-on-ones. We can talk more about that too with OnTransfer. We can show you how that works. Gonna move on here. And then again, like Terry had mentioned at the beginning, the NC difference. It's something we hugely pride ourselves on. That experiential working in that industry, networking. I mean, I can't speak for other colleges, but I know how it works here, and I've had every opportunity handed to me, at least. I've had several conversations with several of my professors in my time that have been wonderfully and engaging, where, you know, they kind of come forward. Maybe I shouldn't say, I won't say who they were, but they've been like, hey, I've got, you know, a friend who's got this experience and they're looking for somebody. So if you'd like to apply, just give me your resume. And you'll have those experiences too, as long as you're putting in the effort and really committing. Those opportunities definitely come down the line. Again, we are putting up our hosts' names here. I'm happy to also provide their email addresses to you. If anyone has any questions, you are also welcome to email them further. Again, Terry Champion, Robert Madronic, Robert Shepard, and David Pastrick. Yes, they are your program directors, but they also will be your educators. You will see them in the classrooms, as David has indicated. Does Niagara College provide us a co-op job, or do we have to search on our own? And the simple answer is a little bit of both. But I would love to hear some of our professors talk about it, because really they help provide a lot of that information while we're going through it. If you don't mind.
Jessica, I'll take the ball if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really good question. And Jessica, you answered it very, very well. So does the college provide you with a co-op, or do you have to find one on your own? And the answer is yes and yes. You will work with our career services department. They provide workshops for you to work on resume skills, job search skills, interviewing skills. They have a whole series of workshops that you take, which helps to build your confidence in your ability to present yourself and put a resume together. You'll also work with placement services officer, I believe they're called, to find a co-op. The college looks for co-op opportunities. They get posted on our website, and you can apply to them just like you would any other job. So the college does the best job that they can to help students find co-ops. Normally, and Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but normally the number of job opportunities exceeds the number of candidates in most programs.
Yes.
That being said, the college will not guarantee you a co-op. Ultimately, it is the student's responsibility to acquire a co-op, and how students go about that. They get very creative. Students might look at a friend or a relative or a neighbor who is involved in a company or business that they're interested in. They approach them. Students have had co-ops in companies or employers that they either have worked for or are currently working with. So you have a lot of opportunities as far as co-op is concerned. Where you go is up to you. I've had students go all over the world, India, China, Japan, Germany, down into the United States, all across Canada, in all kinds of different co-op opportunities. So you do not have to take your co-op here in Niagara. If you don't want to, you can go anywhere you want.
Thanks. I don't know if anyone else wants to speak. If not, I know about the process specifically. It is, at least when we were back on campus, I'm sure virtually it's very similar in terms of having seminars through camera. I know in the process itself, our co-op counselors worked out, so they met with us, they set up, I think it was a 3 or 7, I don't know why those are the two numbers coming up, but it was several sessions along where we had to go, and we learned, you know, the proper ways you can build your resume, build your cover letter, interviewing. So things, if you are a little more experienced, you may have some experience in, but a lot of that is building towards, if this is you first time coming into college and your first time going into these types of interviews, to really prepare you for that. It's also a service that the co-op counseling office offers as well. You can set up an appointment with them if you have an interview coming up, where they will help you with a mock interview. They'll review your cover letter or your resume, even if it's not a position that they have available. As long as they have the time to book with you, they will help you do that. And they also set up a couple of appointments that are required to help you through the process about midway. So about December-ish, November, December, before your co-op starts the next May. They're very, very helpful. they will make you come along for the ride in terms of they are going to remind you constantly that these are the steps you need to take. However, in the end, like Professor Shepard said, you have to still take that step on your own. They can't force you to do that. So it is.
Jessica, if there are no further questions, I think Scott wanted to talk a little bit about Be World Ready. So I'm not sure if you which direction you want to go with that. So
Yes.
If I could just say one more thing, and I don't mean to cut you off, David or Scott, thank you. One of the things I did forget to mention, co-ops are paid. You do get paid on your co-op. How much you get paid is up to the employer, but they are not free. You do get compensated financially. You get paid. Okay, thank you.
Perfect, Scott. Yes, absolutely. If you want to talk about Be World Ready for a few minutes, we do have a couple more questions, but I'll check to see if I can answer them typing, and then we'll answer them in a moment.
Thanks, Jess. Yeah, actually, I was really curious about, we have a lot of programs at Niagara College that incorporate one of our flagship programs globally called Be World Ready, where Be World Ready has study work abroad opportunities, but it also speaks to the globalization or the internationalization of global competencies in the curriculum, which is so incredibly important. We talked a lot today about jobs, but opportunities after our students graduate. And I think we all know that the job market is not always local. It's now global. Global companies are hiring people from all over the world, and it becomes essential to be able to work alongside people of different cultures, different perspectives, different backgrounds, and different viewpoints. And the fact that Niagara College has worked to be able to embed that within the curriculum of our programs, you'll see in the program guide, there'll be little Be World Ready stickers beside various programs that actively incorporate those competencies into the programs. And certainly all of the programs here today have a lot of Be World Ready global competencies built in, simply by the nature, of course, of the programs, but also very intentionally as well. So I just wanted to be able to stress that, diversity is such a key competency, the ability to communicate in a diverse classroom with people of different perspectives. And you guys have done just such an amazing job of factoring that into the program delivery and working with a diverse student population and employer population.
Scott, we actually have a question I think that you might be able to help us answer. So we have someone who is looking to apply to the sales and marketing program, but they are a student in Mexico. So I know our equal consideration deadline for our competitive programs is February 1st. And that's typically for non-competitive programs, there's some leeway there, but I don't know specifically if there's a deadline that would need for an international student applying in.
No, it's a great question. Y buenos días, Sophie. Yo, de hecho, yo viví a México para como 5 años en Puebla y también en DF. Entonces, learned Spanish and had great opportunities. Some of those global competencies that we talked about with language learning and everything like that, and being able to study and work abroad. For any of our programs, you can go to the international website. That's international.niagaracollege.ca. And if you click on the Future Students tab, you'll be able to find program availability. Program availability will list for you all of the different programs based on terms and when they're offered and whether they're open or closed. For the sales and marketing program, we don't have a hard deadline, but we do have a capacity. And so we work towards capacity. So as long as it is open, you can apply. You can apply now. We have programs open a year in advance so that you can do some planning. I know in Mexico, as you graduate later in the year than we typically do here in Canada from your high school, you can certainly start that process today. So again, if you go to international.niagaracollege.ca and you click on apply now, you'll be able to find your admission requirements based on the country that you're coming from. So what transcripts we need, how to submit them, language proficiency skills, etc. And then you'll be able to apply for your program directly.
Jessica, if you want, while we're waiting for some more questions, I can go into a little bit more detail about some of the extra and intercurricular activities we have.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, just really quick, Terry Champion touched on this a little bit. She generally puts together a team for the OCMC, which is a marketing competition every year. But we actually have quite a few other activities that take place. So for example, just this week, we had a hackathon where students were competing to come up with sustainable solutions for local businesses. We also regularly have events such as the $5 Entrepreneurship Challenge, where we try to start businesses on campus to try to raise money for a charity. I've also, now this has taken place obviously before COVID, we also have quite a few activities where we work with a lot of the students and the faculty from Brock University as well. So I've taken part in a couple of case competitions and a couple of business plan competitions, sorry, in cooperation with Brock University. Generally, what happens is in any given year, we usually have, I'm going to say between 3 and 6 events that are either extracurricular, but often what happens is a lot of faculty will include an in-class assignment as part of a extracurricular. So what happens is it gives you a little extra incentive to volunteer, which looks good on your resume, but at the same time, you're also going to get some marks for it. So it actually works out quite well. And realistically, it's also a great way to meet people from other parts of the school, other programs, like I mentioned, other schools. And another great advantage of it is a lot of the times, the people who are coming in outside of the school to participate, to act as judges and so forth, are local business leaders. And that gives you another opportunity to meet people, to do projects, or to maybe go and talk to about a potential co-op placement.
Thank you, Jessica, for moderating and for taking such good care of us. Thank you.
No, no
Scott,
problem.
nice to see you as well, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. Great job. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Good
Have a
job,
great-
Jessica, and see you guys in September, I hope.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of the open house.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Stay
Take
safe.
care, everyone.
Bye.